It's the 30th of October in the evening, so I should be able to play. Oh, would you look at that? Halloween Night 3. 1 hour, but more importantly, 1 day away. Yeah, the developers have delayed the release of Halloween Night 3, although this time they claim it is not their fault. So, about 3 hours before the release of Night 3, the planned release of Night 3 on October, about 9 PM at my time, the Star Wars, he said, "Hello, Tower Defense Simulator players. Unfortunately, we'll have to delay Halloween Night 3. It will now release on the 1st of November 2025 at midnight. Yes, it's not being released on the 31st of October. It's being released after Halloween. And I know for the Americans out there, yes, it will still be released on Halloween for you guys. But the important time zone is UTC and GMT. That is the time zone that I live in. I live in the center of the world. That is ±0. So for us, and for most of the world, it's being released over that time. It's being released in November. It's being released after Halloween. Now, the developers claim that the game is ready to go on our end, but due to ongoing lag spikes and Roblox technical issues, we need a bit more time to help mitigate these problems. So, apparently, too much lag, apparently. Moving forward, we want to continue improving performance and stability across all devices to ensure a smoother game experience for everyone. Taking this extra time will help us make meaningful progress toward that goal. Thank you for your patience and understanding. We are actively working with Roblox to resolve these issues as soon as possible," and they link a dev forum thing. So here it's Tyler saying, "We are running into huge performance issues when we're trying to deploy our updates in Tower Defense Simulator. Our biggest frame rate drops from the micro profile is the following: update instance clusters to update invalid fast clusters. A private message is associated with this bug report, so I assume there's further deepings here. Okay, just adding another visual for mortar clusters, maybe elf-based snowballs and stuff like that. Okay, cool. You might as well limit the number of instances a tower can use and reuse them by setting parity." So a lot of technical stuff about that. So basically, it looks like projectiles are lagging out the game quite a fair bit, and from what I can see here, I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's lagging out too badly in this clip here. But that being said, I'm not a technical person on Roblox, but there are some leaks here, so that's the most important part. So, in the sky, we seem to have what appears to be flying. I don't want to say what they are, but I think they're brawlers. Are they flying brawlers? I don't know. But from here, it looks like with the arm and everything, they look like flying brawlers. Certainly, they are some sort of flying enemy, at least here, although they do look like they jump. So, it looks like they're flying for a little bit, so during the jump I assume they are flying. And then beneath that we have the Necromancer, which is very cool, the Null Necromancer, and it looks very similar, if I'll be honest, to the Night 4 for the Solar Eclipse, at least in terms of what's being shown off here. Oh, and also there is the Null Engineer. You can see the engineers having like their nail bar gun on shooting at towers, so I'd assume that this may be the reason why there's a lot of lag in Tower Defense Simulator. You've got a lot of projectiles being thrown around, and then in this image specifically you have the mortars, and I assume what the developers are going for is that these mortars are probably going to be like meta for this, given the fact that there are dedicated cliff spots around that don't seem like they get destroyed, which is going to be fair enough. But also, interestingly, in the background, you can see some sort of blue thing. Not sure what that is. I don't know if it's a tower or if it's just some decoration. Would be very interesting to see. Although, like, the portals in the background now seem like they're just decoration. So maybe it is just something that is just map decoration. But interestingly enough, the Warlock Tower is suggested to be leaked here, and I think it's all the way down here is where the Warlock Tower is, with the massive sword, which is the first leak for the Warlock, which is very interesting. But it's really hidden, so you can't really see it. Minigunners are seen here, the mortar is seen there, then the mortar in the background as well, and a Crook Boss Commander, or is it Commander? No, not a Commander, Accelerator, and a Hacker Tower. It also does look like there's some sort of portal on the ground, so it does look like they are being sped up with the blue stuff. But then this green portal down here, not too sure what that is about. Maybe it's from the towers, maybe it's from something else, but I don't think it's important, at least in the context of what's shown off here. And this map setting is very similar to what was leaked in the thumbnail for the previous Night 3 thing. That's actually now the current one because, well, there is no update. To say that the community is furious is putting it lightly, because the Discord server has been on lockdown for a while now. Now, I understand the developers want to make it not lag as possible. The only problem is, I don't think they'll probably solve it in time. One day, really? Will that really solve the lag? I don't think so. Also, the developers have moved it to a time when it's probably slightly inconvenient for the most of the world. So, in 1 hour and 1 day time, it will be midnight for most Europeans. So, for Europeans, yeah, good luck trying to stay up for that. Secondly, it's in the evening for the East Coast players for the United States. Guess what's in the evening? Halloween. Yeah, I suspect a lot of players in Tower Defense Simulator, they actually might be out trick-or-treating at this time. Now, I've heard some people say that they're actually busy during this time, and this is the first time I've seen that the developers release an update Friday evening. In like Friday evening, typically what people with a social life do actually is they go out. So, obviously kids. I don't expect kids to be drinking. But teenagers are probably a high-value targeted audience for Tower Defense Simulator. And I would assume that perhaps the developers had some sort of mindset that we won't release on Friday evening because all of the people who are profitable to us are out drinking, including me. I'll be out drinking on Halloween. I'm not going to be playing the Night 3 because I have other duties to do. I'm getting drunk and you're releasing the update. How dare you, developers? On a serious note, obviously they don't update the game around me, but I think that for most players, Friday evening is actually going to be such of a hassle to play that I think the developers, it is in their best interest to perhaps delay the event until Saturday morning for Americans. That means that it's like Saturday afternoon for us Europeans, and Asians, yeah, you get screwed over either way. Although actually, with it being released on a midnight, it actually is slightly more convenient for you because it'll be on a Saturday morning. So, for the first time ever, I think, the Asians, they get a very good time release for Night 3, just by total accident, I can't lie. Additionally, the developers did a sort of mini live event. It wasn't really a live event of sorts, but in this mini live admin abuse event thing, whatever, was when the Warlock Game Pass was actually first released. But what the developers did is they sent a global message to everyone, but also they spawned in 4 enemies, and those 4 enemies were 4 imposters, which means that for some reason these imposters actually gave out logbooks. Now, normally, enemies that are spawned in by a person, they shouldn't give out any logbooks. However, these imposters were able to give out some logbooks, and some people have been shown to actually have these logbooks, these imposter logbooks, which, again, is very interesting because here's the evidence and everything. Here's the imposter logbook entry. It is blank, and then these are people who are spawning in imposter enemies. Yes, they do exist. The imposter logbook is a thing, and because of the fact that the developers only spawned in 4 from the seeming things, and you had to be online at a specific time, and the developers didn't warn anyone, it now means that the imposter is probably the rarest logbook in Tower Defense Simulator. The Corrupted Conserver is now probably 2nd rarest, and I'd assume, right now at least, the Mechanical Rot is the 3rd rarest, maybe Frostspawner 4th rarest, and then the 5th rarest, I don't know. We'll probably have to figure that out. Health Cultist, probably not actually. Probably some limited time one. Now, for the completionists out there, yes, it is more than likely that with the imposter logbook now being all maintainable for certain players, it means that nobody in Tower Defense Simulator can 100% the logbooks. You probably don't have the Corrupted Conserver logbook, the Frostspawner logbook, the Mechanical Rot logbook, and the Imposter logbook. Those 4 things, I guess the Musketeer of logbooks, those are really, really hard to get, and I assume not that many players have even 3. I know some people have 3, but certainly when it comes to the Imposter logbook, that is really difficult to get because the developers just spawned it in, and it for some reason gave out logbooks. Bearing in mind that you would have to get really, really lucky with the imposters, given that only 4 spawned in, not the 60 for the pity kill, bearing in that mind. So you're looking at, what, a 1% chance of getting it? So, I don't know how many people were playing the game at the time. I'd reckon about 10,000 players. So of those 10,000 players, 1% chance, I'd estimate maybe 10 players in the history of Tower Defense Simulator have an imposter logbook, which means that it's probably the rarest item ever in Tower Defense Simulator. Although I'd be corrected, if someone could, show me proof that they have it. Although they do bear in mind that 4 imposters spawned in, so actually you need to times that by 4. So let's say 4% chance that someone got the logbook during that game, right? Or during the time when the developers spawned in the imposter. That means that 40 people likely have the imposter logbook. Yeah, no one is a completionist in Tower Defense Simulator anymore. It's just gone now. Now, interestingly enough, the Warlock is still being sold for 32 million Robux. Okay, very interesting. Doesn't seem like it has a sword on the back, although now seeing the hilt here, with this black figure, it is a sword. So yeah, the event tower has been officially leaked on Tower Defense Simulator. Very cool. And like, yeah, there was also some speculation that the narrator could be the event tower for this event. The only problem is it doesn't really fit in with the lore of Tower Defense Simulator for the narrator to be an event tower either. For a skin, yes, actually, I kind of understand it, because there are some skins in Tower Defense Simulator which really don't make any sense. So the one that I can really think of is the Umbria Commander. If the Umbra is a enemy against the Tower Defense Simulator organization, then yes, it wouldn't make sense for it to be a skin. But that's not the case. These skins aren't really canon to Tower Defense Simulator. The default skins are canon to an extent, but the skins that a tower may have are not canon to Tower Defense Simulator. But with that being said, the event towers that have been given out are normally on the side of the towers. I believe the Gladiator has appeared in a cutscene once, and the Hallowpunk and the Harvester appeared in lore for the Hexscape event to try and get us out of that situation in whatever village that was after it got wiped out by a nuke. So it is very clear that, yeah, the towers are from the canon of Tower Defense Simulator, and adding the narrator as partner as like an event tower really doesn't make sense. It makes sense from a cool aspect. So you know, beating the narrator, I was like, oh, like, yeah, here is my clone or whatever, here's my plushie, here you get to use me, whatever. Fair enough. But from a lore perspective, it doesn't really make any sense for the narrator to be an event tower. With that being said, though, people can be converted to the side of the Tower Defense Simulator organizations. Just look at NerdDucky. NerdDucky was against the Tower Defense Simulator organization because, well, he was being starved, which is technically a war crime. Although, with that being said, I don't think he realized that he was not intentionally being starved. They just forgot. So, but he was converted over by Professor V. So I'm just saying that it is potentially possible that the narrator could be converted over within the lore to the Tower Defense Simulator organization. Although, given the fact that he has beef with literally everyone, I'd assume not. Although, that being said, the minigunner was clapping him at the end of that cutscene, so perhaps there is some potential for, I don't know, a little bit of a bromance between the narrator and the minigunner, and, you know, maybe one day out pops a child. You never know.